Hi guys, Kaze here. Welcome back. We're back with, oh god, what is the game's name? The Men of Yoshiwara, Ohgiya, with Ageha's arc on chapter 5. I want to do a recap. I believe, let's see, we got to know a little bit more about Ageha. Other than that, we hung out with him and Gakuto secretly. Mostly I'm here for Ageha. They're just all helping me out, which is kind of cool. Though, I don't really know why. Or they're just like, oh, pure heart romance. Let's help. I don't know. Because he has to be deflowered, and I can't choose until he is deflowered, so deflower the man! And they don't want me to be the one to deflower him because I'm a virgin myself. The character, of course. She's a virgin too, so I think the point of him being deflowered is so he learns how to deflower, or not deflower others. Well, technically they do. How to please one, really. So, let's see. Anyway, chapter 5, Determination. I made a promise with Ageha. Someday we would come... Someday we would go together to the flower fields by the cliff. After that, much later into the night, I returned home. Although I lied in bed, I couldn't get a wink of sleep. I was too busy wondering how I could make this dream come true. How could I help him escape that prison called Yoshiwara? I wanted to free his pure heart and release it into the air like it had wings. Those thoughts ran through my head all the way until morning. Okay, great. Now I'm trying to break him out of a refugee camp, right? It's like, no, I will set him free. As all the women glomp him, right? And every night for the next few days was much the same. One morning, as the eastern sun climbed the sky, I finally decided to act. I had realized my feelings for Ageha were, in fact, love. Nothing to do now but admit it. It's my time my mother hears my true feelings. I put my thoughts into words to encourage myself. In the end, all that mattered to the family was that I produced a child. If that was the case, I made myself presentable and went to find my mother. Ooh, do I get to see what my mother looks like? No, she's just a giant blank thing, okay. What's this you wanted to talk about? Well, there's something I want you to know. I'd finally gathered enough courage to confront her. Musashi had come to and was standing behind me. Took a deep breath and stared sharply into her eyes. Mother, I tend to make Ageha my Ohgiya husband. It was like the air had completely frozen. True, it was a bold statement to hear all of a sudden, but Musashi and my mother seemed shocked well past expectation. Hase, what did you say? My lady, the Kitsune family will not stand for a courtesan as a husband. Besides, he is an apprentice. Besides, he is still an apprentice. It's absurd. I know. Then why even suggest such a naive thing? Such a young man would be utterly useless to help in the shop. She sighed, a harsh expression stuck on her typically pleasant face. But mother, I'm still training to help too. We could learn together. It wouldn't be a problem, please. You know nothing, Kaze. Life is not a fairy tale. I regret having to say it, but a husband? And it's far too early for that. Please, rethink this. You too. Musashi, my mother, pointed out my foolishness with pale faces. I had thought to at least Musashi might understand where I was coming from. Even so, I wasn't ready to give up. I'd taken days of thinking to come to this decision, and I wasn't letting it go. My heart had already been stolen by Ageha. That's why I had to, by any means, save him from that prison. Please tell me I'm not trying to break him out. I do not agree with this. Not in 1,000 years. You would defile the honor of our family, built upon my generations. I had to do something. Oh, okay. Okay, argue, comply. Why would I bring the sushi into this? Musashi. Musashi. It's like sushi, but not really. So we're gonna argue with her. Bad mom. Honor has nothing to do with this. I will purchase him no matter what you or Musashi say. I turn on her, defiant and not wanting to give up. That's your mom and father's money, so they kind of do have a say in this, just, well, saying. Yeah. However, she then turned her attack on Musashi. Musashi, what is the meaning of this? I thought I could trust you for what happens in Yoshiwara. I'm sorry, ma'am. I know you spoil her, but if you don't make things right, I understand. How bad is it? My heart was crushed by the sight of Musashi apologizing over and over. He endured the shame with downcast eyes. My lady has yet to choose a courtesan. Instead, it is clear she shows affection for Ageha. My goodness. Her face became as pale as a ghost. I can't believe my ears. If she hasn't chosen a courtesan, she isn't even close to conceiving a child. My mother stood up in anger. She was more fierce than I had seen her before. I understand now. You had one job, to bear a child, yet you flirt with some apprentice? You shame your family. You don't even deserve to be the heir. Mother, wake up from your dream, Kaze. The world does not revolve around you. Do you understand? Yes, mother. A wrenching feeling tore at my stomach. Why would nothing go my way? Rules and honor kept blocking my path. My mother sighed and turned her back to me. I didn't raise you to be like this. I could hear the disappointment in her voice. Not only had she ruined my dream, she had also denied involvement in the near 20 years of my life. Damn. That'd be harsh. A while later, I felt so crushed I sat in my room and cried alone. Perhaps to them my desires seemed pointless and backwards, but it was what I wanted, more than anything ever before. Ageha. I hugged the letters he wrote to my chest. You know what would be funny? Because he said him and his sister learned juggling, and you know juggling. And this would just be a really wide grasp. Considering I have black hair and the chances of my father having blonde hair, he could be my brother. That would just be weird, right? That would just be a horrible ending. I think there's a happy and a super happy ending. I don't think it could be that, but that would just be like a really crazy ass plot twist. Yeah. In my sorrow, tears built and fell from my eyes. And then, my lady. I must have fallen asleep as Musashi's voice had woken me up. My lady, may I come in? No. My face was so swollen from crying, I didn't want anyone to see me. He gave up and instead continued from behind the door. Please forgive me for earlier. It was wrong of me to ban you just because your mother was there. I never wanted you to suffer like this. Had I known it would come to this, I would have done more to make you pick a courtesan. His usual strong, manly voice. His usually strong, manly voice quivered feebly. I knew he didn't want for this either. But even so, please, leave me alone for a while. I could only mutter those rude, heartless words. Perhaps my mother was right. I was young and stupid. Musashi left without saying another word. I cried, frustrated at how weak I was. After that, for some time I stopped going to Yoshiwara entirely. That is, despite the promise I made to Ageha, I had no desire for him to see how pathetic I was. And in other words, look! A new backdrop! Yay! Still, I wanted to meet him more than ever. With the lack of Ageha, color and joy drained from my life. But then a letter from him arrived. Days have passed since your last letter. Is everything alright? If you are troubled because of me, I pray that my feelings will reach you. May they protect you and your precious heart from pain. Oh, Ageha. It was the touching letter which showed his kindness. Ageha. His words moved me and healed my broken heart, softly and warmly like sunlight. As I closed my eyes, I could picture his innocent smile. I stood up and went straight to my desk. I had to find a way to help him. In this fake and cruel world, only his heart shone true and pure. You had one job, to bear a child, yet you flirt with some apprentice. You shame our family. You don't deserve to be the heir. The words my mother spoke the other day came back to me. If I chose Ageha, I would have to be ready for the consequences. But as a young and ignorant girl, what could I really do? My answer for him was still far, far away. The next night, after a long break, I finally decided to go back to Yoshiwara with Musashi. It was apparent something was happening when I glanced at the carriage. Even most so in a busy night, the street was packed with people. What's going on? Why are there so many people? There's supposed to be a festival in Inari's shrine tonight. I would assume that is why, Musashi explained as the carriage reached the tea house. However, Musashi went on to announce her arrival but came back with a distressed face. What's wrong? Tonight it seems that Gakuto and Utsusemi are taken. Oh. Okay, of course, was still an apprentice who couldn't have guests. I wouldn't be able to see him without the help of one of the others. Technically, we never used Utsusemi for any of this, so why would I... No, that would be mean. It's like we could use, oh crap, I forgot his name. Asagiri. He helped us once, but I don't think he'd like it, so I don't know. My spirits dropped, along with my hope. What would you like to do? Shall we at least stop by the festival? No, I'm not in the mood for that. Do you mind if we just walk home? Very well. But there are rumors of crooks around here, so stay near me. Alright, I'll be careful. I climbed out of the carriage. Yoshiwara was so full of energy and passion, you could feel it in the air. People drowned in lust, creating reality to escape in the night's dream. However, the tragedy of not seeing Ageha snuffed the light in my heart. I'm like, who's Takigawa? Oh, yeah, okay, Takigawa. Like, who are you? Are you Kaze, the one for Ageha? Ooh, that was horrible. That was not his voice, but I'm sorry. What? I turned around upon hearing a deep voice calling my name. I made him sound like Asagiri. I'm so sorry. It was Takigawa from Ohgiya, who I had met twice before. He'd been out sending guests home for the night. Had he been out sending guests home for the night? I don't want to hear from someone who knows nothing. You are a bit rough around the edges. I wonder what he sees in you. He snorted as he insulted Ageha and me. Musashi, let's hurry home. Are you sure, my lady? Didn't you want to... I changed my mind. I didn't want to stay any longer around that courtesan. I felt like he could read my heart, and I didn't like that at all. Hey, where are you going? I'm not sure what you're so angry about, but everyone at Ohgiya has heard the rumor about you and Ageha already. Huh? I glanced back at him. There are rumors about us? Since when? After hearing that, I had to confront him. Hey, this lady's picking me. Hey, this lady picked me for tonight. Alright? He suddenly called out to a worker at the tea house. What? My lady? Takigawa grabbed my arm, so I tried to wrestle myself free. Stop it. You're leaving because Gakuto and Utsusemi are busy, right? It has nothing to do with you. Let me go. I never said I picked you. His sharp eyes pierced into me. I was afraid he'd see all my thoughts clear as day. I knew something was up. Listen, I'll do you a favor and be your partner for tonight. He started rambling nonsense as he pulled me into a room. Before I knew it, I was sitting in the middle of a banquet. I was more concerned about how he heard rumors about us. If the banquet wasn't enough of a surprise, Asagiri even showed up. Aren't you going to drink? This is a special one I sneaked in from the mainland. No thanks. Won't a courtesan like you get in trouble for breaking the rules? It's a special exception. It always was. The Pleasure District always had exceptions wherever it was convenient, except for when it concerned Ageha and me, it seemed. Try, just a little, okay? Don't you trust me? You've been to my room, remember? Asagiri! Here, just one cup. But... He forced the cup into my hand and filled it to the brim. It's really good. Not bitter at all. So refreshing, too. It's like drinking spring water. The two of them gulped and relished its flavor. No one seemed to care about my opinion. Not my family, nor the pleasure district. I was bound by rules and honor, weighing me down like an iron jacket. All I wanted in my life was real love. Ageha's the only one that can give it to me. I muttered out loud, guzzling the sake in frustration. It scorched my throat and put tears in my eyes. Why is he staring at me so intently? Takigawa set down his drink on the tray. You're suffering too, aren't you? Huh? A deep and dark light shone in the haunting man's eyes. The more you hold on to love, the more it will seep through your fingers. Yoshiwara will tear you apart and pick your bones. What? You're a smart girl. You should know without saying. If you play by the rules and honor, it's a game you can't win. That's all there is to it. I know what you're trying to say, but even if I understand it, my heart won't listen. Why wasn't I freely allowed to love anyone I want? It wasn't like I could stop my feelings. I looked straight down. The reflection in my cup showed a girl on the verge of tears. A girl who was helpless to save her first love. Do you love Ageha that much? Takigawa? He asked earnestly in his deep, penetrating voice. It was a strange power that made it impossible not to answer. In the back of my head, I remembered when Ageha and I made that promise. I promise I won't give up. His faint, trembling voice rang in my ears. He had a pure, immaculate heart and charming smile. He was my first love. I stared hard at my reflection and found courage in my eyes. Raising my face, I looked at Takigawa with confidence. But he's all I think about. I have to help him. I love him. I have to help him. Everyone knows I love the man, so what's the point saying that one? And I think we already know that we think about each other, but I need to help him. I have to help him. He's too pure and innocent to be stuck in this cage. Takigawa stared back at me, his eyes dark and deep. Takigawa downed his cup of sake and crossed his arms. If you love him that much, you better do something about it, he said in a powerful voice that stripped all doubt. What followed was Asagiri and Takigawa telling me the situation with Ageha. Highly anticipating to bring loads of money, he was fostered from a young age. That was why the search for his deflowering partner was such a big issue. The biggest problem is the debit from Ageha's mother. Debt? That's the reason he was sold to the brothel in the first place. It wasn't enough to cover it all, so it's on the head of Ohgiya now. When his mother gave him up, she was crying for days. I had no idea his past was like that. Remember when Ageha had told me, he remembered very little about his young life, just as his mother had taught him to juggle. But if it's like that, how can I even have a chance with Ageha? In this rule-ridden Yoshiwara of all places. You keep bashing the rules here, but Yoshiwara couldn't run without rules that are in place. Guess why Ageha still hasn't been deflowered yet? It's because rules are in place to protect him until a certain age. Huh? His words were hard to swallow, mostly because they were true. I have no idea what to do. If he was protected like that, what even are my options? Well, the boss needs him because he's the golden goose that will bring in the money. Whatever the plan is, he won't give him up unless you compensate for that. There's little future for you two unless that's taken care of. That's where my plan comes in. He mentioned in a deep voice that made me astonished to hear more. My heart was beating so fast, I thought it might burst. You could devour him on the premise that you buy him. That way, the rules of Yoshiwara stay intact. What do you mean? Asagiri jumped in to explain since I still wasn't following. There's a special rule for when a new courtesan is deflowered. Whoever gets the honor has to dish out 50 gold coins. You can sweeten the deal by paying off his mother's debt at the same time. But wouldn't that be a lot of money? If you're the heir of your family, you should be able to afford it. Right? It might be feasible if the family business was mine, but that amount of money was sickening and no one's told me what the price is. What the hell? But before that, there's another problem. I wasn't very thrilled to hear that. Clenching my fists, I waited in anticipation. Only experienced women can do the deflowering to show him the way. But you're a virgin, aren't you? His words stunned me, and gorged a hole in my heart. Oh. Well, crap, I think we're a bit screwed there. We are definitely not deflowered ourselves, so that's not going to work very well. Oh, well, I guess we'll find out how that works. Yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to give us a like and subscribe for some more content from the channel. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Kaze out. Bye, guys.